Hi, I've been boxing, as you can see here. Nice black eye or some greenish, yellowish eye now. And I've been sparring, I have been tagged, and I was thinking that instead of not making any videos right now, why not making a video about boxing and facilitating? Because they do have many things in common, more than you might think, maybe. So let's have a look at it. 7 things that we can learn from boxing as facilitators. The first thing would be a game plan in the boxing world, or a script in the facilitation world. A game plan in the boxing is basically when you're in competition and you are really up against a skilled fighter for a real fight in the ring, then you will always come up with a game plan. You will always think of what kind of strategy you will apply, because despite of what many people think about boxing, it is not just getting into the ring and throwing wild shots and just hoping to be lucky or be violent. No, it is very, very much of a chess game, I would say. And you really should have a plan. And the same goes for facilitation as well. You should not go into a facilitation, into a workshop, into an event without having a clear idea of what you're going to do. One example, the great Muhammad Ali, for instance, he was really famous for his predictions. Like he would predict what would happen in round number 5, number 8, number 9, and then in round number 10, his opponent would go KO. And surprisingly, they really came true. And that was because he was already visualizing everything that would happen in this fight. So he would go through this mentally and think it through from the first round, from the beginning of the first round to the end of the last round, etc. So that is one thing. Then obviously things may change over time. So like 99% of the time, things will not evolve as you've planned them. And the next thing you will need to do is to adapt this plan on the fly, make a quick assessment if you get tagged or if your combinations don't work, or in the facilitation world, if a methodology doesn't work or there's any sort of problem coming up, then you have to adapt. You cannot just keep doing what you once wanted to do, but you have to adapt it. You have to try out different things. So having a plan and partly throwing it overboard or bringing in new elements, adapting this plan, super, super important. The second thing would be about choosing your techniques in boxing or your methodology in facilitating. So in boxing, sometimes you see people on the heavy bag or shadow boxing, they throw like crazy combinations, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 punches in one combination. And that is simply not real. If you are up against a really skilled opponent, you may be ready, or you may be able to pull off a combination of 3, maybe 4 punches if you're lucky. That's already a lot. And that is really something that we should be aware of. And the same thing goes for the fancy techniques that you might be tempted to use in facilitation as well. Remember, you have to apply all these methodologies under pressure. There's a lot of pressure. There's like you're in front of maybe 30 people, maybe 50, 100 people. Depends on the event, of course. So be prepared for that in the sense that you use techniques, you use methodology that you are really comfortable with and that you can easily apply under pressure, that are realistic, let's say. Aspect number 3, and that would be to create your own style. In boxing, you have basically 6 techniques. You have the jab, the cross, left hook, left, right, uppercut, and that's it. But out of these 6 techniques, people make, they make just incredible variations of it. And just by adding a little tweak to it, by pursuing a slightly different angle, or just changing one detail of it, or just maybe sometimes it's about the timing of the second punch, sometimes it's the stance or switching the stance, or the body movement, moving your head off the center line, etc. So there are so many things that you can tweak and so many things that you can work on that even the basic techniques, become an art in fact. So the idea would be to create a style of your own, just bring in give it your own touch, try things, try it by the rule book, so to say, and then if you are really good, then try to break the rules as well and try to develop it further, try to look for something that works for you, that maybe doesn't work for anybody else, but that works very well for you. And that is the same for the methodology in facilitation, or your way in general of facilitating stuff. There may be things that work for other facilitators, doesn't mean that it has to work for you. So there again, try what works, try what you're comfortable with, mess around with everything, try to find some safe spaces where you can exercise and try out new stuff, and then try to create your own style, because I think that is really really important. Like, having this personality as a facilitator is it is important, I would say, and my impression is that it really matters to clients and that it really matters to the people you're working with. All right, the fourth aspect I want to talk about is the feeling out process in the beginning of a fight in the boxing world and in the beginning of a workshop, for instance. So what you would do in a fight, for instance, or what many fighters do if they have a real fight, then they will not just go all in from the first second. They will not take too big risks in the, say, first 20 or 30 seconds, maybe the entire first round. And they will just try to see, okay, how does my opponent react to what I'm doing? What is my opponent doing? So what can I do when he or she is doing this or that? So it's about this feeling out thing, not to overcommit with something, but to try to get a feel what this fight will be like, in that case, what the group will be like, what the vibes in these workshops will be like, and then adapt to it, and then little by little, increase your commitment. And then at one point you can also, try out something that is a little bit more daring, that is a little bit more, special, let's say. But in the beginning, try to feel the group, try to feel the vibes that you encounter. And then after that, you can, go all in with what you think will work in that setting. All right. The fifth aspect would be to be respected. Now, what do I mean by that? If you get in the ring with somebody and with a really good opponent, at one point you have to earn the respect that your opponent simply cannot just push you around all the time and strike whenever he or she wants. He or she always has to be, has to feel like, there's something like this guy could counter, or I cannot just do anything. So having this respect will allow you to not be overrun, basically. At one point, you have to stand your ground. You have to counter something, even if it's, painful, even if it's difficult, even if your opponent is terrifying, or you are feeling terrified. It doesn't matter. You will have to stand your ground at one point and throw back, because otherwise you already lost. And by the way, I'm not into this, you always have to win a fight or stuff like that. In the end, for me, it's all about having a good fight, having a fair fight, an interesting fight where everybody can learn. But to that, or that will not happen without respect. So that is really important. Now, in the facilitation world, I would say it's about being respected as what you are. You are the facilitator. You are responsible for the structuring of the event. You are responsible of the methodology that is applied. You are responsible for guiding the group through the process. So that is something you should assume, and you should do that towards the group itself, but you should also do that towards your clients to reassure them that you have everything under control and that you are able to move the group from A to B. So that is really important, and not let there be any doubt about it. You are the facilitator, you are in charge of getting people there. Number 6, keep calm under pressure. In boxing, you will have obviously a lot of incoming shots, and what you need to get used to is to keep your eyes open while these shots keep coming. You have to get used to keep moving while somebody is throwing really hard punches at you. And to get to that point, it really takes some time and some exercising. You will not get there immediately just like that. So the idea is to get used to this little by little, have practice stuff, and then gradually evolve, gradually take a slightly more challenging fight or a slightly more challenging sparring partner, for instance, and then move up the ladder little by little. So, for instance, when we go back to the facilitation world, I had workshops where I had already had a bunch of ambassadors, for instance, in my workshops. I had the Minister of the Interior once. I had an Undersecretary General from the United Nations. I had 2 generals in a workshop. And so when you're at this level, I didn't get there just overnight. I was gradually, taking more challenging assignments. So at one point, after a couple of years of already working as a facilitator, I was actually capable of doing this sort of stuff. So that is the same thing you should do. You have to be ready to deal with the pressure that you have in such an environment, and you get there by approaching it little by little. All right. The seventh aspect I want to talk about is, it is about energy. It's about managing your energy. Boxing obviously is super physical. If you don't have the experience of doing a 3-minute round of fighting, you can probably not imagine how exhausting this is, and how much it is important to, first of all, have the physical conditioning to do so, have the stamina, have the strength, etc. to do so. But the second thing that is probably even more important is how you manage your energy. For instance, how you keep breathing. Many people, when they throw shots or when they are under pressure, they have to defend, they stop breathing. And that is, then it's just a matter of seconds until you get really weak, so to say, or you will not last very long in that fight. So being able to breathe even under pressure is so important. Finding those little moments like these 2 seconds maybe, where you can relax your arms and relax your muscles, where you can take a mental step back and think, okay, what I'm going to do now? Okay, all right, I'm going to try this. So this is this is not long. This is maybe 1 second or 2, but those moments will help you recover. And then obviously in between rounds, you have a 1-minute break. So if you use this break effectively, it is super important. So this is boxing. Now, when we look at the facilitation world or facilitating workshops, it's very similar as well. You will usually have, when you're somewhere, you're facilitating a full day workshop, your work day will easily be between, 14 or 16 hours. It's a long day, especially if you have to prepare everything in advance. Then maybe you get flown in. Just recently I got to bed at 3 a.m. For just before a workshop. Then at 6 or 7 a.m. I had to get up. At 9 a.m. the event was starting. So this is always something that you will have, jet lag or other stuff. So it can be super exhausting. Like once I facilitated 5 days in a row, like 5 full days in a row with different groups. And it was obviously really exhausting, and you really have to manage your energy. You have to take a break at one point. You have to see, okay, when are the moments where I can take a step back, try to relax, where can I sit down, when should I eat, when should I drink? Because obviously if you have a full stomach, then you're not really up to the task of facilitating. So that is really something you should experiment with, trying to manage your energy, trying to find the moments where you can relax so you can last longer. All right. Okay. That would be 7 things. Sorry, I got injured as well. 7 things that are very similar in the boxing world and in the facilitating world. And I have one tiny bonus thing, and that you would probably not expect in the facilitating world, and that is trash talk. I once had actually somebody from a group, it was a team workshop, and somebody who came up to me and he was saying something like, yeah, you know, Martin, yeah, we're kind of difficult as a group, you know. So honestly, don't worry if you don't feeling well, whatever. Yeah, we made the last facilitator we had, he went out crying. But don't worry, Martin. You will do it. We're not that simple, but you will do it. So that was really interesting. I had this kind of trash talk, and obviously you can have the same trash talk in boxing as well. On the other hand, if you're doing boxing and if you're used to, you know, dealing with physical dangers for your body, then I must admit it was easier for me to simply ignore this trash talk and say, well, okay, let's see about that. Just rather laugh about it. All right, that was it. What boxing and facilitation have in common. I hope you like the video. Leave a comment if you have a specific topic that you would like me to cover. All right, that's it. Goodbye.